Don't hang yourself around people who kill your vision. You are lazy, they are more lazy. You are a procrastinator, they are more. And they are the ones that will say, see, don't kill yourself. Oh. Just sleep. Just rest. And all that. Never hang yourself around such people.
Psalms chapter number 11. Let's start the reading from verse 2. Psalms 11 from verse what? 2. And I'd like everyone to fix their gaze as we study different scriptures today. If you are there, say amen. Now look at this. For lo, the wicked bend their bow. They make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may, what? Privily shoot at what? The upright where? Upright where? In heart. So it means that the devil has special interest in your heart. He has special interest in your heart. Now look at verse 3 now. Let's read this together. 1, 2, 3, go. If the foundations be destroyed. Please, do you mind? Can we take this 3 more times? Two more times. Last time. If the foundation is out of place. So the foundation of our lives, when you are building, the foundation is the first structure that is built or erected intentionally depending on the destination of the building. Okay? So, how far the building will go is not determined by your intentions. It is determined by the success at the foundation level. So, if you get the foundation level wrong, even with the best intentions, you will have to stop somewhere. Is that okay now? So, the devil has seen that one of the ways to strategically, and when we talk about warfare against our souls, 2 Corinthians 10 from verse 4 says that, from verse 3 says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh, but the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds, casting our imaginations, and all that. Listen to this. Whenever you hear warfare, don't think might, think strategy. Think strategy. It is only strategic to eat a man at the point that he will remain continuously eaten. And if there's any time in a man's life that if you eat him wrongly, and I mean any human now, it is as though you have eaten the person for the rest of his life. It is the season of his childhood. That's the place. You see, sometimes we ignore the idea of raising children. And permit me to pause here to give us a better sense of purpose around the subject of marriage and parenting. Listen to this. You cannot, and let me say this, it will be wickedness to decide to marry a wrong person because you know time is going, forgetting that that person becomes the environment of your children. It is wickedness. You should not settle to marry someone whose mentality you don't want to see in your next generation. So the idea of marriage goes beyond the ability to contribute good genes to make the children look good and then batter their minds. It's a responsibility that God has given to you as singles, for those who are still single, to be intentional about knowing the one for whom or with whom God has ordained you will spend the rest of your life. And that must be vetted, but not in a hurry. So parenting now is a very sacred responsibility. And let me say this. We are still dealing with traumas that are associated with parents of the last generations. And yet, we are dealing with a generation who have no sense of sacrifice. We are dealing with fathers who don't want to be fathers and mothers who don't want to be mothers. The trauma of the next generation will be greater. Because it is possible to be pained and yet become worse than those who hurt you. It is possible to be grieved and yet become worse than those who grieved you. You are not ready to walk down the aisle if you are not ready to commit. If you are a man who believes in sleeping around, don't bring an innocent girl to suffer. You are a woman who believe you are, I don't know what gen I should put you. Gen Z or Gen Alpha. And your mentality about marriage is fire for fire. Stay alone for a while and fire yourself. Don't bring children into that atmosphere where they'll be wrecked because of your decisions. Because before I start teaching you and you feel like the victim, let me help you not to grow to become a villain. There are boys and there are girls. You see, Pastor, please come. This is, in mathematics, there's something we call an integer. So let's say this is a negative integer. Please come, sir. No, okay, let me use a lady. Okay, let me use his wife. Okay. And this is a positive integer. Let's say this is -2. And let's say this is +2. This lady has worked extra. She's a plus. This guy has abandoned himself. He's a minus. She believes that because of the level of training I've received, what I know and all that, when I meet any man, what I know will overshadow him. +2, -2. The answer is 0. I'm saying that there are people that your home training cannot repair. You must let God do his work, and it must be clear he has worked. Even if you will say, I do. There are disasters waiting to happen. It takes those that their prayer partners have left to marry them. And I say this again. While we understand that the church is a spiritual clinic, the disasters are also there too. There are wolves, there are sheep, there are goats, there are lions. You see, listen to this. Listen. What Jesus told Peter is, follow me. I will make you fishers of what? Men. When you fish, you don't just catch fish. You can catch a snake too. Oh yes. You can catch a poisonous fish. The one that you have to know how they skin it. If not, that's your last meal on it. That you find the person in church doesn't mean you've seen a child of God. No. Is that okay now? So I'm putting a disclaimer to it. In fact, the way I knew is my husband was that day I saw him around the apostle. Disclaimer. Listen. The concept of building a family is laid on the foundation of sacrifice. If you want to be right always, don't start a home. You can't take nonsense. No, go on Twitter. Join the girls. Shout. Go on Rampage. Do all those things. You see where a girl is kneeling down on her wedding day to serve the husband drink. You are angry. What's that? I don't do all those things. All this. Vex. Lock yourself in the room. Be it up with your own vexing. Don't bring that plague and hang around someone who is trusting God for a destiny partner. Not a problem. And let me tell you this. You see, this thing called pressure, one of the things it does is that it blinds your reasoning. That you see a person, but let's do it on time. It is not for those doing it on time, but for those doing it right. your time. Don't get to the point that you will wish you did. Take your time. Be sure. Ask question. Look at our mind and his mind. It is not the best colors that will raise your children or the best food. Let's believe that those questions are useless questions. You are not a chef. And even if you are not going to cook all your life. True or not true? Yes, what's your best food? So I like spiced gizzard. Please be seated. Thank you. Say, I hear. Say it again, I hear. You owe it to God and to his investment upon your life to marry right. And I've said this again and again. People went on a rampage. The church must learn to normalize breakup. It's part of life. There's nothing special about it. Listen to what I'm saying. It is possible that these two people are pastors in church and they feel they are not good for each other. It's normal. Never marry anybody because of what people will say. If your life goes bad, they will still talk. Last, because somebody was sharing testimony the other time and then said Tipe. I don't know what that means, but because see, last, everybody will leave your issue and face their problem. You want to get married and all your thinking is about as fine as you are and as fine as he is. When you come together to produce children, how fine they will be. That's your thought. Have you seen fine children who have been messed up with a very brutal man? Please be careful. Is that okay now? That